Representing Illinois injury victims for over 40 years, Jay Janssen. One name says it all.
I work for a packaging company, and about 5 years ago I started having problems with my hands. Now a doctor says that I need to have surgery on both hands. Should my employer pay for that?
This is a very interesting question, and I'm glad you asked that because it fits in with a situation that the Janssen Law Center handled all the way from the Industrial Commission up through the Circuit Court, up through the Appellate Court of the state of Illinois, and up to the Supreme Court of the state of Illinois with favorable results. And it's a recent decision in this regard. First of all, you're talking about an injury that occurred 5 years ago, all right? And you have an injury to your hands, and it's by and large probably carpal tunnel, because you're working for a packaging company and you're either stapling or pounding or hammering or taping all of the time, and as a result you start to notice something unusual about your hands, and it happened 5 years ago. You don't want to make a big thing out of it. You let it go. You think it'll get better. It doesn't get better, and then finally you see a doctor who diagnoses you with carpal tunnel. All right, you've passed the 45-day notice requirement. You've also passed the 3-year statute of limitations period on such a case. But you were a good person. You thought you were going to get better. You didn't get better. And finally, you're diagnosed with a carpal tunnel problem. That is compensatory. The Supreme Court of the state of Illinois said it is compensatory, even though you let the 3-year period go by because you weren't diagnosed with the carpal tunnel by a physician. You can't self-diagnose yourself. When you were diagnosed by a physician with carpal tunnel, then you would have 3 years from the date that you were diagnosed to bring a claim. So even though it happened 5 years ago, fortunately for this case that we just had decided by the Supreme Court of the state of Illinois in favor of all workmen throughout the state of Illinois, it allows people who have repetitive injury traumas to their hands, such as carpal tunnel, cubital tunnel, to have a long statute of limitations and not be cut off by the 45-day rule, not be cut off by the 3-year rule, but it's actually 3 years from the date of diagnosis. Very good question, and it's a case that we're very proud of in winning in the Supreme Court of the state of Illinois.
The Janssen Law Center.
You know, all injury claims have time limits. Wait 1 day too long and all is lost. Under the Illinois Workmen's Compensation Act, for example, a 45-day notice requirement is part of the law. Contact the Janssen Law Center concerning your claim.
Jay Janssen. One name says it all.